Up guys, so on this particular video we'll be discussing about Kasol Kheerganga trek in Parvati Valley in the summer of 2025, how you should be going about planning the trip, what you should be carrying for this particular trek, and most of all when it is a good time to be going on the trek. Now keep in mind that if you're starting your trek from Kasol, you need to leave early in the morning from the town of Kasol, and if you're someone who's planning on doing this trip via the local bus, then make sure that you take, I would say, at least the first to second bus, which is anywhere between 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. And this is so that you can reach Barsheni, which is the base village, to start the trek as early as possible. The later you leave from Kasol, the longer it's going to take, and it's going to become a stressful experience for the hike. The reason why I'm saying leave in the morning is so that you have ample of time to reach the top of Kheerganga without it becoming dark, because once it gets dark, hiking up through the forest in the dark is not everybody's cup of tea, and it's not something I would personally recommend for anyone. So now getting to the hike. Now remember, from Kasol the journey to Barsheni will take you anywhere between 45 minutes to 1 hour by local bus. By a taxi it can take you anywhere between 25 to 30 minutes. The local bus will cost you around 50 rupees, while a taxi will cost you anywhere between 600 rupees to 1000 or 1500, depending on the type of vehicle you're taking. Alto being the cheapest and an Innova being the costliest. Now, once you got to Barsheni, you will find plenty of people selling hiking sticks in the form of bamboo sticks, which are used for the hike. Now these sticks are very important, so make sure that by default you're taking one stick along. It will just help in navigating through the long and enduring hike. From the village of Barsheni, Kheerganga is, I would say, around 13 kilometers one way. So if you start your hike by around 9 a.m. in the morning, you can target reaching the top of Kheerganga with, I would say, 3 to 4 stops along the way, by latest anytime between 3 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon, which is an ideal time to reach there. Once you reach Kheerganga, you can decide which campsite is favorable for your stay for the night, and then stay the night over there, go for your hot bath and return. But when it comes to the hike, remember there are two ways to reach the top of Kheerganga. One is via Barsheni, Naktan, Rudranag, and the other is via the village of Kalga. Now when you're starting from Kasol, it is advisable to do the first option, which is Barsheni, Naktan, Rudranag to Kheerganga and return via Kalga. The reason I'm saying this is because when you're hiking from Naktan, the hike is much easier as compared to via Kalga. Even though most people will tell you that Kalga is a easier hike, when you're hiking it's not really easy, because it's pretty strenuous, because the climb is steep and you got to walk very steep steps to make it to the top from Kalga. So while descending, when you're coming via Kalga, it's much easier, because the same steps which you have to climb up, now you got to walk down. The only advantage of hiking via Kalga is that it falls in a forest area, which will give you plenty of protection from the sun. But if you leave on time, you're going to bypass the sun and you're going to reach the forest area before the peak heat of the afternoon strikes in. From Barsheni, once you start your hike, it's important to remember that the 13 kilometers is not at all difficult. It is purely mind over body, and at the same time, for I would say 60 to 70% of the trek you will have network, but after you cross Sunflower Cafe, which is along the way, you will lose network. Now remember that the trail is very well marked. There are arrows and indicators guiding you through the entire journey to reach the top. But if you are someone who wants assistance, you can always take a guide along who will charge you anywhere between 1500 to 2000 rupees for the trek up and down. Now these guides and porters come really handy for people who are not comfortable carrying their own baggage and want assistance along the way. And they also help with providing local information and stories about the trail, and the experience will be more enriching. It's not like I'm promoting any guide, but if you're someone who's skeptical about going to Kheerganga on your own, you can click on the link in our description. We have plenty of trips happening to Parvati Valley throughout the year. If you're interested, you can enroll solo or with your friends or with whoever you want on a trip to Parvati Valley, which includes Kheerganga with us. and you can sign up on our trips. If you have any queries related to Kheerganga and our trips, you can WhatsApp our team from the WhatsApp option on our website. Now, coming back to the trek. Now, remember, Kheerganga has changed over the last few years. Now, there are no longer cafes, and the bustling hippie vibe of Kheerganga has gone away. So, now when you reach the top of Kheerganga, you got to stay in a campsite which will provide you with set meals. It's pretty much a thali in the evening. And the thali is a good veg thali which includes rice, vegetables, a couple of sabji, maybe roti along with it. So that's the basic food that you'll get. In the morning, you'll get aloo paratha, maybe Maggie and chai. So this is what the meal comprises of. No longer pizzas, pastas, and all the other glamorous food that one was accustomed to at Kheerganga top. That's no longer available. The forest department has taken over, and now there is a fee for the hike. It's around 50 to 100 rupees per person that you need to pay to the forest department before you start your trek. Keep in mind that when you're hiking to Kheerganga, you need to have very good pair of shoes. Do not go with shoes which are already flimsy, because if they tear or they break along the hike, you're going to be stranded because there's no other way for you to get up and fix your shoes. When you're hiking to Kheerganga, it can rain anytime, so it's always important to carry a rain sheeter or an umbrella, whatever you're comfortable with. But just make sure that you have some kind of rain protection gear with you, and also carry very bare minimalistic clothes with you. You can just carry an extra t-shirt, or I would say don't even carry an extra pair of shorts. Just carry one t-shirt is more than enough, and a pair of undergarments. Carry an extra pair of socks because that will come handy. And when you're packing your stuff, just make sure that you're packing everything in a plastic bag. So by default, even if it starts raining or anything happens along the journey, your clothes and whatever fresh clothes that you have inside is dry. Because when it rains in the Kheerganga belt, it rains so heavy that no matter how good your backpack is, water will seep through, and your clothes getting wet is a disaster. Carry a very thin towel along, because the heavier the towel, the more complicated your journey will be. Do not overpack at all at any cost. Keep it as light as possible again. Along the trail, you'll get plenty of refreshments. At every nook and corner, you will find stalls which are set up where you will find Maggie, you'll find bread omelette, you will even get wholesome rajma chawal. Cold drinks are also served along the way, so do not worry about all of these things. Water bottle is also available along the way, Bisleri water bottles. Now remember, the cost of these products keep changing and keep differing as per season and as per altitude. So the same package water which at Barshini will cost you 20 rupees at the start of the trek, as you get higher will cost you anywhere between 40 to 50 and even 60 rupees for a bottle of water. So this is the cost difference, and this is purely because porters and mules are required to carry things up and down. So that's the reason why things are expensive. Camping at Kheerganga again depends on the number of people. More the people, the cheaper the deal. But if you're planning to go in a small group of 2 to 4 people, then you can expect to spend anywhere between 1500 to 2000 per person with all your meals. And this is camping which includes your bedding and your meals. Now remember, Kheerganga is a wonderful place for stargazing, and it is one of the best places to experience shooting stars in Parvati Valley. So if you're someone who's up for stargazing, then you should do the hike to Kheerganga. The hot spring at Kheerganga is another refreshing experience, because it's one of the few hikes maybe in the entire world where after doing a strenuous 13-kilometer hike, you can reach the top and refresh yourself with a good hot sulfur bath. Just make sure that when you're entering the hot sulfur bath, you're just being very sure about your first step, because it's generally a little bit slimy and slippery, and a lot of people end up slipping and falling over there. So just be very sure before you enter the hot bath. Now on your return back, it is the same trail, but just leave I would recommend by latest 9 a.m. in the morning, so that you can reach back by noon to Barsheni and then take your return bus back to Kasol or Manikaran, depending on where your journey is. So now all in all, the trek to Kheerganga is a very easy trek. It's possible from Kasol in a 1 night 2 day. Just keep to time, because time is all that matters when you're going on a trek. And avoid doing this trek solo, because it's more of a trek which is enjoyable and favorable when you're going with a group of friends with you. Just carry a power bank, because that's the best way to recharge your gadgets, and avoid carrying a DSLR unless and until you're comfortable hiking with the DSLR. And do not be foolish, use common sense and be wise, and avoid taking selfies on dangerous spots. Till our next video, stay safe, stay happy, stay blessed.